Hey guys, so let's talk about recession-proof stocks and why these stocks are particularly considered recession-proof. Now, when you think recession-proof, you usually hear it as something that is safe from either declining during a recession, closing during a recession, losing money during a recession. There are stocks that are considered recession-proof because no matter what happens in the economy, these stocks still have the ability to remain stable while the market just might be coming down. These stocks could be essential things, right? By essential, what comes to mind? Your water, your lights, electricity, even power grids or powering plants, waste management. These things remain need-based even when everything else is kind of on pause. Think about shopping. You may see retail down, Walmart, Dollar General, possibly. Considering when people are cutting back on spending, they may go to Dollar General, they go to Dollar Tree, they may even go to Five Below, but hey, those prices aren't even Five Below anymore. So you just look to those discount stores as something that people may run to when they are cutting back on spending. But they still aren't exactly essential type companies or need-based things because when a recession hits, when the economy is down, when there are talks of wars, trade wars, tariff wars, whatever the case may be, we look to the things that we absolutely need, and those things are power in our house. You gotta have water. No matter what's going on, trash will be picked up. It has to be picked up. We look to pay bills before we look to other pleasures. So therefore, a lot of our spending doesn't go towards other activities. We mostly focus it on getting the bills paid because in a recession, it's a lot of uncertainty. With utilities companies being, need-based, we can definitely look to these things to really still hold steady even if everything else is just going down the drain because it has more predictable revenue. I'm throwing in an honorable mention here would be phone companies. We're going to pay our phone bill. But let me kind of put this out there too. So if you don't know what I do outside of trading, I have a startup which is a wireless carrier since 2018. And as a wireless carrier, we operate on the bigger networks, right? Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. Now, people are going to pay their phone bills. Like I said, we focus all of our on our essential needs, which is the bills at home and then phone bills, even our car, things like that, right? But when people are cutting back on spending during recessions or when the economy is bad, they are likely to cut back on the big carriers and go to prepaid carriers. But here's the thing, even though they may see a little bit of slowing revenue, if that happens, the prepaid carriers, which is us, have to pay the major carriers to rent out space on their networks to offer it to our customers. So even if people are shifting to prepaid carriers, we are still paying the bigger carriers to operate on their networks. And also to be looked at as essential or maybe of an honorable mention type thing, but we may still see some stable movement in these companies because people are going to want to pay their phone bills no matter what. Not only that, think about this. I've been talking a lot about quantum computing, AI, data centers, and all these things. They are building hyperscale data centers even in the midst of we see that the economy is not as great as it can be. We just came out of the government shutdown. The government shutdown has been down for the longest it's ever been in history, and there was a lot of uncertainty there. But data centers are still getting built. Multi-billion-dollar partnerships are also still getting done. These same electricity companies, whether it's Duke Energy, Dominion, you got Next Era, you even look at the other utility companies such as like Southern, but we'll get back to that one. These companies have the ability to benefit from such massive push into the build of hyperscale data centers. And so not only does these things being recession-proof make a great addition to your portfolio, it also has the ability to keep going as the demand for a massive amount of electricity, power, and energy is needed to power these data centers. So you got a need base, and then you have this massive demand for it to power these companies' data centers that they're building. Also, renewable energy. That is also have been a massive demand there as well, and can also kind of begin to move into being essential. Now, waste management as that last one. When it comes to waste management, right? trash got to be picked up. And you may see various different waste management companies on the market, but one of those ones that I have is the company Waste Management, WM. Okay, so this is also a essential thing because it's not just residential, it's commercials, it's the massive push for it because we have various corporate entities that need trash pickup for their locations, and then of course we need the landfills and all of that other stuff. So these things will continue to move no matter what's going on in the economy. For water, hey, we got to bathe. And there are three that you can look at. You can look at XYL, you can look at American Waterworks, and you can also look at Essential Utility. These three fall under that water category. Me personally, I do have XYL, and I do trade it when the conditions are right. But just something that you can look into to kind of see if that's something you want to add to your portfolio, or if it's worth hurrying for. For the natural gas, you may look into NiSource or even Sempra. These are two that you can take a look into, do a little bit of due diligence. I don't trade these. If anything, it would be more of a buy and hold for me because I like to see a lot of volume, a lot of open interest there for these companies. And sometimes you don't, because remember, these don't have a lot of volatility. They are more stable stocks to kind of give it a little nice flow as it kind of goes. So this isn't one that I look to trade. It's mostly I look to buy and hold. There's a few things that I kind of wanted to put out there for you to look into. And also a lot of these things pay dividends. So it's nothing better than being able to hold a stock and having some steady growth or just steady movement, and you are also able to get dividend from them. Okay, so you also look into Southern. You may have noticed Southern logo somewhere around where you may be. That's one of them that you can also add to the radar with Waste Management, Dominion, Constellation, Bloom Energy, tons of them out there, and a lot of utility companies that you can look into. Now, some of them are over the counter. A lot of platforms don't allow over the counter, so I highly recommend you kind of using whatever brokerage app you're using to see which utility companies are there. A lot of them will have them literally itemized out under a category of utilities or natural gas or electricity or energy, gas, stuff like that. So it should be somewhere where you're able to click on these things and get a full list for you to do your own research. So with that, I will see you guys in the next one.